do governments have a role to play in terms of bringing sound money into existence again, or is it better to let sound money operate within the private sector and governments continue to operate with fiat currency?
I think governments are beyond the pale at this point.
The record is so bad.
Well, I just think it's unrealistic to expect them to do anything. I think if that's going to be driven at any level, it will be at a corporate level, not at a governmental level. If you ask me, should they? Well, obviously they should, because they should be interested in the subject, but they're actively disinterested and obviously benefit from stealth inflation, etc. So I don't see that. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. But I do think that if this settlement issue is pushed harder at large corporate institutions, I think they have the ability to drive the agenda in a way which maybe we haven't explored so far. And I think that could be quite interesting. One talks to CFOs and people who are involved in actual paper pushing for the large corporations. They might be able to drive the bus.
So issues like the sovereign debt crisis, the banking crisis, both of which are ongoing, this has raised the visibility within corporations of payment risk, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I fail to see how it's possible it wouldn't have done. And I think actually, interestingly, people who are involved with the numbers at large institutions are much more aware of things like real rates and the problems inherent to the currency system. So I think if it's pitched to a CEO, I think they would just stare at you in amazement going, I don't understand what you're talking about. However, I think if it's pitched to a CFO or the people involved in that element of large businesses, I think you may get a different reaction. Although, of course, it's like anything in life, it's gaining the first few footholds. That's the difficult bit, because I think once you get a few people on board, it could be a runner quite quickly.
Yeah. So getting back to the point I was making about people need a safe place to put their money and a safe mechanism to make a payment, that's true for corporations as well as it is for individuals, obviously.
Absolutely. And as I say, I think that's a weak point in terms of developing the story from our side, those trying to educate. I think that probably the area that could do with most stoking is that part of it. Yes, because I think we're got a good job of getting people on board at an individual and retail level, educating them as to what money is. But I think the corporations, seeing as they're interested in the bottom line, they should, if anything, be more interested if one can explain it to them in those terms.